Hello and welcome to a new freeze frame challenge where I challenge myself to take a freeze frame from a media, any piece of media, and see if I can turn it into paper cutting art. So in this case, as you might see, I tried to give a go at making Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3. Now I'm the kind of player that, given the choice, all of my characters are going to be arrow ace. They're never gonna flirt with anyone, they're never gonna sleep with anyone if I'm given the choice. So this is a scene that I would never have seen playing the game. But I wanted to give it a go anyway because first I wanted good facial practice because I'm pretty bad at making faces and paper cutting. And this was like a really nice close up of his face, and I thought, and he's got like nice visible features, let's say, so this was a good way for me to practice figuring out what to keep and what not to keep when making a face. And also, being completely honest, I wanted to do that shirt, or that top, or doublet, or whatever we're calling it. I really like the patterns, and I thought it would look really cool as a paper cutting art, so I just wanted to give that a go. Even though it was a bit long to trace all of that. What I was doing as I was tracing there is that at the same time I was trying to figure out what I would cut once the template got printed. I was trying to decide. I wanted the pattern to be hollowed out and the shut to be filled in. So then it was a question of what to hollow out, what lines to keep, making sure that nothing would fall out, no piece of paper inside a shape would fall out and make something just make a big hole with no details. And obviously you want to keep the details. So yeah, as I was tracing, I was also adding some lines here and there, like just trying to figure out how all the lines connected to each other to make sure that nothing would fall out. And for the rest of his outfit, it was a question of deciding what to include for that sleeve there. For example, I could have traced the lines of the shirt, or I could have traced the folds of the shirt. I think if I had done both, it would have looked too confusing or too, I don't know, busy. And I wanted, compared to, there would be something really busy in the middle with that pattern, and I didn't want to overcomplicate anything outside of it. Yeah, and I'll rework that eye for a really long time, because like I said, I'm not good at faces. I'm bad at drawing them, I'm bad at cutting them, so I wasn't really happy with that eye for a long time. And here's what I meant with the features as well. It's difficult for me to decide what to include. Like that line for the cheekbone there, should that be a line in paper cutting, or because it's not like a strong straight line in a face? I'm never sure what to include because you can't really do faded stuff with paper cutting. It's kind of all or nothing. And obviously making hair hollowed out because that's one of my favorite things to do. I like thin lines, and I think hair looks really nice when you do it hollowed out like this. So whenever I'm given a chance, I will do it. The other complicated thing about faces is that, unlike other subjects like, say, clothing or background stuff, with faces, if you cut even slightly differently from the line, you will end up with a completely different expression. And here it wasn't too bad because it's a pretty big card, but sometimes when I make faces that are smaller, it's really stressful to cut faces, because I know that even if I cut slightly differently from the line, which can happen because you don't always cut exactly where the line is, it's going to completely change the expression you're going for, so I tend to shy away from them. So this is me forcing myself to do a proper face. I think cutting that pattern took me a good hour on its own, excluding breaks, because I needed breaks in between, because I honestly didn't think it would take me that long, because I was like, yeah, it's leaves. It's pretty leaves. How long can that take? Quite a while, turns out. Like, I will admit, after like an hour in of cutting these, I was like, oh, why did I do this to myself? But I don't regret it because I think it looks really nice. It's just a very nice top, shirt, doublet. I really should look these things up before I record. Let me see if I can find some examples of what I meant with the line. It's kind of hard to see because I'm a bit zoomed out, but what I'm trying to explain is that, like, when you have lines like that and like maybe there are two leaves touching each other and there's going to be like a line differentiating the two leaves, you want to make sure that that line of paper is attached to something. Otherwise, when you hollow the rest out, it's going to fall out along with it and you're going to lose some details. So as I drew, that's something I do generally anyway, but here I paid particularly close attention to that, because sometimes when you're cutting, you get in a zone and you're a bit tuned out and you're just letting your hands do what you do what they're doing, and you might not notice that something's not attached. So that's something I tend to pay very close attention to at the drawing stage. And we're finished with the pattern. I think it looks nice, but I like, yeah, now and again I was like, why do I do these things to myself? Yeah, and like I said, for the rest of the clothing, I was trying to leave it a bit more simple, not too intricate, because it would distract from like the main point of the thing, which was the shirt. And now we're going to get to the thing that I hadn't planned for. This piece took a lot longer than I thought it would, so my battery completely ran out about half an hour before I was done. And I think it started recording with a full battery as well, so yeah, I think just cutting this took me a good 4 hours, which I hadn't expected. And it's very hard to check my camera when I'm cutting because the camera's above me. It's kind of hard to leave my seat now and again and like completely change what I'm doing just to check that it's recording correctly. So I'm really sorry about that. So you're missing the final bit of the piece. If it makes you feel any better, all you're basically missing is the like cutting the hair of the lady at the bottom there, and it's basically the exact same thing that I did with Astarion's hair, so it's like exactly the same technique, and then just cutting out the outline. Sorry about that. I'll try to make sure to connect my camera next time. And now we're painting the background that the paper cutting will go on. I was going for purplish red to try and mimic the color of his shirt, but I ended up on completely purple, which is fine. It looks fine as well. And for some reason this time I was really struggling with the water from the watercolor pooling in those lines there, and I couldn't really get it to stop. And I don't know why that happened specifically here. I feel like this is the same paper I used before, and I feel like I'm using the same amount of water. But it, like, for whatever reason, it wasn't really cooperating with me this time. So I'm moving around the water a lot, trying to avoid those lines, because they're a bit too obnoxious. Which sort of worked. There we go. And then it's just a question of pasting the paper cutting, and I try to go slow and methodical and paste down anything that might, any strand of paper that might stick out or accidentally get folded over. And you can't do everything at once because otherwise you run the risk of having too much glue and having the glue stick out on the sides, which never looks really nice. So it's always better to take your time a bit with that step. And there's the final card! I really love that shirt. It was worth the pain. I think the shirt looks really good. Thank you, game designers, for giving him such a good shirt. Did I succeed on the face? I think the face is a little better than what I usually do, so it's a step forward. I think I've still got room to improve. I think the eyes can definitely work better. Maybe I needed more details in the eyes. I don't know. Maybe I need to figure out how to make them more detailed. Maybe I need to figure out how to do lips as well. Maybe I should have done the top lip. I don't know. There's room to... It's not a bad face, but it can definitely be improved. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of the card. Let me know of any other freeze frames that you would like me to give a go at turning into paper cutting art. If you liked this video, go ahead and click through to my channel where you'll see a lot of other videos like it, and also videos about shadow boxes, which is like my main thing that I do. If you'd like to support me, give a like on the video, like subscribe to my channel, check out my various social media stuff. And if you're really interested in my work, why don't you head to my Etsy shop where I sell some of my work and might maybe sell these cards? I haven't decided yet. I don't know. Let me know if you'd buy this. There we go. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time!